I am JB Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, the home of AfroEconomics. Thank you so much to everyone who's participating tonight. Zora, Mr. Lewis, Ms. Ward, Valron, Ms. Marshall, Mr. Dorsey, Ms. Walton, Ms. Hayes, Carl, everyone that called in that doesn't like the logging in, and everyone on our AfroEconomics with JB Bryan Facebook page that doesn't want to log into the webinar, which is much more fun. But y'all are 7,000 strong, so I cannot leave you out. Actually, closer to 8,000 now, which is a blessing. I appreciate you. Please make sure you register at the site so that you can get all of the weekly invites to all of the things that we do. This night, we're talking about college loan debt. I'm going to, y'all, if you all got my text, I said we're gonna have a fight tonight. We are going to knock it out. I found it shocking when I was looking at the newspaper and I see this article. And I don't know if it's gonna, I'm gonna try to share with y'all. And I see this article in the Wall Street Journal, and I guess y'all can see this on the screen. You see this, brother? And I was like, student loan debt crisis hits hardest at historically Black colleges. That's major. That's AfroEconomics. That's something that we have to address. Thank you all for participating tonight. To all of y'all who are still constantly joining in on the webinar side, I think you feel the pain. But the fact that along a path to financial security, traditionally African-American schools are now producing graduates who struggle with disproportionately high debt. Disproportionately high debt, y'all. This has to stop. So this discussion tonight, I want to talk about that we don't really take it seriously enough, Mr. Martin. We're not really taking it seriously enough, Zora, and I hear it all the time. And let me look at you, like some of the things that were brought out in the article, and then we're gonna go on into, because we're knocking it out, and I'm gonna talk about just some suggestions. Some of you had some questions. Definitely don't let me stop without addressing the questions, but it's interesting points I want to pull out. It says HBCU alumni, that's historically Black college and universities alumni, have a median federal debt load of about $29,000 at graduation. 32%, that's 29,000 is 32% above graduates of other public and nonprofit four-year schools. It says the majority of HBCU grads haven't paid down even $1 of their original loan balance in the first few years out of college. Another quote, America's 82 four-year HBCUs make up 5% of the four-year institutions, but more than 50% of the 100 schools with the lowest. So it makes up more than 50% when they rank. They have 100 schools with the lowest three-year student loan repayment rates. So even though we make up 5% of the institutions, 50% of the list of the lowest is made up of our schools with the lowest three-year student loan repayment rates. So the lack of repayment of us, when we don't pay our debts back to our historically Black colleges and universities, it hurts the university. And I think a lot of graduates don't realize that. And then it says, here's how, and it had some people who were interviewed and they were sharing their story. Here's a Dorsey. We got to remember that's a Dorsey. Here's Theo Dorsey, 25 years old, graduated from Hampton University in 2015. Nearly 3 decades after his father, who graduated from Southern University in New Orleans, another HBCU, he borrowed $20,500 and has been paying off mostly interest on an income-based repayment plan. And this is Dorsey, the 25-year-old, didn't see an alternative to debt. And his parents wanted, he said, he quotes, wanted me to be able to chase my dreams and get my higher education like they were able to. So he has this debt and he's using this income-based repayment plan, which means he qualified for the loan that allows that. The parent loan doesn't allow that income-based repayment loan. See, another person, a television reporter in Greensboro, North Carolina, says he still owes $20,000 and bills and loans eat up most of my check, he says. He said he earns less than $50,000 a year and the loan has made him put off saving as much as he would like. The odds are kind of stacking up against me, he said. It doesn't feel fair, but it's all I know. Another quote, he plans to help repay the roughly $91,000. Now this is the television reporter that graduated from an HBCU making $50,000 a year. He says he plans to repay the roughly $91,000 his parents took out for him on a federal parent loans. His father, Tyrone, says he graduated with $1,500 in debt in 1986 with about $3,500 in today's dollars and repaid it within 2 years. Now his father has $91,000 in debt. I guess y'all get the point. This is some scary stuff. And these stories go on and on and on. So we have, thank you, y'all. Let's see. I'm gonna start from the top. I'm gonna start from here. That here's one of our participants says that they owe $42,000 from an associate's degree 9 years later. $42,000. Let me know if that was an online program. Just curiosity. I'm not gonna say your name or anything, but $42,000 sounds real steep. And some of the online programs are for an associate's. I wish I would have gone a different route because this person says, yep. She said, yes, it was Phoenix. I only make $33,000 and they have $42,000. You should check out the book. Make sure, for sure, I have that in the book about how to determine if the debt is worth it. Especially, we have to factor in what type of income we're going to be making afterwards. And then another person says, I definitely feel the pain. I've been able to defer it for the past 8 years by taking additional classes. But now that I'm not taking classes, they're starting to look me right in the face. It's overwhelming me. I think I owe more than $30,000. Key word there is she thinks she owes. One of my major points I want to make sure that we know is we cannot think. No matter what, we have to know. The next time you talk to me, I want you to know down to the cent how much they think you owe them. You know, look how much they know that you owe them. And I want you to know what they think. Definitely, we have to know. And then we have also in employers 401k and the IRS ruling letter regarding employers 401k and student loans. I said, see, you know what? I wish you had. I don't have any information on 401ks and student loans, but I hope that it's not that you can take money out of your 401k to pay a student loan. If that is it, then I really, 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 really look. That is it. Oh my goodness. Y'all, don't you ever take money out of your retirement. Oh, then someone else said that's not it. Bottom line, even if the IRS says you can take money out of your retirement without penalties to pay for something, you know, you cannot afford to take money out of your retirement to pay for that. You can't. The employer can fund your matching based on your repayment amount. Well, they let a lot of employers, help you, but that one can fund your matching based on your repayment amount of your student loan. Oh, wow. And then someone said, is that confirmed that the employer can fund your matching based on your repayment amount of your student loan? And that would be interesting. And then you have to find out what would be the taxation for you of that matching, and how, would that be compensation? How would that impact you? What is that based on? Fund your matching based on your repayment amount of your student loan. I don't know, but we could do a whole webinar on that one day. I know one company, there is no tax penalty for the employee, but see, Marshall, you're talking about two different things. So, but yeah, if you, but the bottom line, even if with anything that deals with, like, there's one person saying, I cashed out my 401k to pay off a credit card some years ago, or I cashed out, it's really against you even to take out a loan from your 401k. Even though you feel like, oh, I'm paying this back to myself, it's stopping you from accumulating for your future, and there is no loan for your retirement. So it really impacts you. If I could show you the graphics of the information on the information of how important it is the earlier you start. So if you just start saving for your retirement, but then you have to stop because you want to start paying tuition for your child, that because you started aggressively saving during the years that you could, it will help you so much more, because that money will be able to compound for you during the years that you may be taking it out to pay for that tuition in the later years, and you're not saving as much. And then we have the ERISA Council shared this information for consideration. Great. Look at, when you get an opportunity, look at Abbott Laboratories, and they share some information for consideration. I know, but I don't know exactly what you're referring to. So, because we have like two different things going on, but definitely that is important information. The only thing I would advise, anything that the employer can give you to help you pay off your school loans, take it. Anything where you have to take from your future to direct it to school loans, you have to remember that your retirement is protected from any lawsuit. So you want to protect your retirement and keep it away from using it to pay for any consumer debt, and school loans are still a consumer debt. Yes, indeed. But she said, amen. Yes, anything they give you, get it. Even what advice can you give our daughter who is going into her senior year at Temple University, who will need some additional loans to finish her last year? Your advice is, you thank God that she's able to get the loans in her name. Mom and dad do not put the loans in your name. You can help her pay her loans back in later years if you want to, but putting them in your name is a problem. So try to avoid putting anything in your name by any means necessary. Definitely. But if she's going to, that is her investment in her future. And most of us, I know for me, I worked 2 or 3 jobs at different times. There were times where I had 3 different jobs during undergrad, and my father was a president at a HBCU while I was in college. So they were serious that I was going to pay for my own education. The way they looked at it was I was supposed to have a full scholarship, and because I wanted to be not focused on just doing my schoolwork, then you got to do this. And University of Virginia did not offer me a scholarship. They offered me admission and said, you figure the rest out, little girl. But my first choice was Howard University. And Howard University said, we don't have any dorms, even though you applied early. So I had to go to University of Virginia by default. That's so, you know, and Howard, I don't know if I would have come out as far as financially. I don't even know my 2 or 3 jobs that I was using for UVA and then my loans that I paid off when I got out, you know, would have worked, because Howard and then them not having housing, I was going to have to get an apartment, would have been literally hard for this one girl with no money. So the definitely, I suggest that you're in your last year in school, take it very seriously, get out as fast as you can. One thing that it did for me is it gave me a great work ethic and a sense of responsibility. A lot of kids that like, you know, that by the grace of God, like my child probably will not have that same, you know, motivation because of what I've been through. A lot of times we try to make it way too easy for them. So it's going to have to be a serious balance for me to make sure that she buys in as well, because it's very important for us to allow our children to realize that their education is their education. That is their investment. It's just like buying a car or buying, you know, or anything else. The time that you're using going to school is an investment of your time. And a lot of them don't take that seriously. They think it's just extended playtime. So they just stay in school because they feel like they can play, and they're accumulating all of this debt and they don't have any major of any substance. So they can't really make it in. And I saw also in the articles that HBCUs were going to start to do a better job on directing the students into jobs that they could make more money. They can make more money. So then also they say, great, we only did $6K in our name. These are the parents talking, for the 3 years that she's been at Temple based off of our teaching, and while not to get loans in our name. I know that's right. Good for you. My father went to got his master's at Temple, and his doctorate at New York University. But yep, he went to Temple because when he finished Elizabeth City State University, University of Virginia, when my father was in school, paid him to go somewhere else. They didn't want any Black students. And I thought that was interesting that there it was, like, I don't know what, 20 years later or something or more, that here it is, his child is going to go. But yes, there is a definite legacy that we need to realize in our education, that our children don't realize what the purpose of it is. And if we did, then I think they would take it more seriously about paying those loans back. And they would take it more seriously about taking the loan out. The whole academic experience needs to be taken more seriously. Yep, no, okay, they did not want any Black students. They did not. Nope. Yes, yes, indeed. So that was interesting, and he encouraged me. He encouraged me to go. I had a positive, you know, experience, and that's where I was introduced to business. And I did a double major in accounting and finance at the University of Virginia. But indeed, for those of you who may have missed it, yeah, I was saying that when my father was accepted to University of Virginia for graduate school, they paid him to go to another school of his choosing, and he was accepted in Temple. So the state of Virginia basically paid for him to go to another school in another state. That's interesting. And I wish that my father passed last year, but I wish I could find that letter. Oh yes, definitely, Ms. Witherspoon, it's insane. They accepted him, but they rejected him. Isn't that life? Yes, indeed. But it made me make sure I represented him well when I went there. And I don't even know if the business school had even had at that point a student that double majored in accounting and finance. And they were real upset. But I had, accounting professors, that were like, you can do this. You can do this. And I found finance was very easy for me, and accounting I felt was really challenging. But now you all see, I love and am fascinated with, talking about tax laws and tax strategies, and, and love learning more about it. And that is because probably of my exposure in accounting. So, definitely, I feel that we should encourage our kids to do exactly what I did. Don't just do what comes easy to you. Go do what is challenging to you and what you feel could really, this Witherspoon said, this is a story for a documentary, to do things that could really lead to opportunities to help this planet. Do you have any leads or advice on where our daughter at Temple could find some graduate schools looking for African-American students to attend their graduate schools in the biochem field so that she won't have to get additional loans for graduate schools? That's a very good question, and it shouldn't be very hard because they got all of these STEM programs. And that's funny because my daughter wants to do biomedical engineering in undergrad. So that's good to see, more that young Black women that are interested in the sciences like that. That while I was at Howard, Ms. Witherspoon, I learned STEM students should never pay for graduate school. Tell them, Ms. Witherspoon. Well, I hope that's true. But you know what? Sometimes we think that we should never pay for anything. And I really feel that that is something that we should stop doing. I feel that one time I was in a meeting and the lady got really upset with me because she said, I think that Obama is going to make sure that I don't ever have to pay my school loans back. And I was like, but that's your loan. That's your education. Like, why would he do that? Like, why would you not? Why would you choose loans, school loans? Then in that case, why should somebody have to pay their house loan back? I mean, why do we really feel, that we should just be, I want to go to school. I want to study this. I want to learn this, but it should be free. Like, why? Why should anything be free? I mean, I know that there's some people who are running on that stance, but anything that's free, you have to acknowledge you're not going to get the quality of the education that you deserve. There is always going to be different levels, always, even with the Affordable Care Act. You walk in, and if you're on the Affordable Care Insurance, there are going to be a whole bunch of doctors that don't accept the insurance. The same thing is going to happen with our schools. If they turn it into, this is the free one, anybody can go there, really, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to get the same quality, same level of it because it is a business. It's a business. That's all. If we have to just look at it as a business, and not everybody has to go to college. I was telling a young man today, that I was like, he was saying, well, I'm gonna go back to school because I want to study communications. I said, well, you should start talking to the radio and the TV stations. They can't require a degree. Why work here if you feel like you have to do that? Like, we have to make sure that we are maximizing our opportunities with the minimum investment. The minimum investment. The only reason I went to University of Virginia is because I could not afford Howard. And I even changed my major. I wanted to go to Howard to study communications. I, at that age, was able to sacrifice and change, and that ended up being where I found God's purpose for me in business. And then what? I'm still on television regularly. I never fretted. I said, this is what I got to do. I can't afford that, then I'm going to do this. And it is UVA was a lot cheaper than Howard. It was a lot cheaper than Howard. So I couldn't afford Howard. And then someone was asking me, is UVA higher than Howard? No, at that time, especially being in state, going to the University of Virginia was a lot less expensive. I was just thankful that I found a place to land, because it was late in the game when Howard told me that they didn't have any housing available. And I had, like, because someone who loves Howard and my older sister was at Howard, that's the only place I had applied to. So my dad said, well, you can't work here, because my dad, the college where he worked, so he's like, you got to find somewhere. So definitely, Ms. Witherspoon. So look, you thought it would be the other way around. Okay, nope. Yeah, a lot of people think that because of the bigger name, but no, one is a public school, UVA, and Howard is a private school. Yeah, so it's definitely. So let's look at some other points. Y'all are still coming in. I really appreciate y'all. And we have this, we have to make sure that you do the same. Thank you, my sister girls, y'all helping out. Your questions are great. Thank you for sharing your stories. This is beautiful. So let me also share some points. So we looked at those scenarios. I want to talk for a minute about these Parent Plus loans. I'm going to do this on CBS 6 next week. I don't know why. I have my, it is warm outside. I'll open the door. I should have left it closed. I love some fresh air. It is like nothing but heat coming in. Nearly 800,000 parents borrowed an average of $16,000 during the 2017-2018 academic year through the federal government's PLUS program. That's a total of $12.8 billion, representing a 42% increase over a decade ago of parents borrowing money. During that same time, the amount of undergraduate student loans increased by only 2%. So that means that parents are taking out more loans. That means it's impacting you more, right? And they're saying it's like relatively easy for you to qualify for a PLUS loan. But I've had grandparents and aunts who co-signed to get PLUS loans or co-signed for school loans took out loans, and they promised that they would pay back, and their nieces and nephews, grandkids are not paying the loans back. And I remember, and it says a lot because that wouldn't even have been an option for me. But when I graduated, my father had taken out a PLUS loan to help me, because they were like, no, you don't qualify for anything. You're gonna have to. He gave me the whole book, and I paid it back. He gave me the book upon graduation. Not a car. I had to buy my own car. Not money. No, they gave me the payment book without hesitation. I think one day I think I was late on one. My mom called me. She said, they called here. You better pay that thing. And that was it. And I was in graduate school, working full-time, going to graduate school at night. They did not care about whatever I was doing. They were like, see, it's amazing though, that so many of us, because I wouldn't do it. If it was my child, I'd be like, oh, she in graduate school. But I don't think that you would know JB Bryan if I was brought up any other way. Like, I had like, I felt like that made me me. That made me me. I would be like, I'd be so mad. Like, oh my God, I can't believe she told me I was late. She said, you get it together. They're all, you missed what happened? So happy to be connected. Well, I'm so happy to be connected with you. I thought it would be the other way around. Oh, right. Y'all so sweet. I don't know. But yes, indeed. So yeah, definitely don't hesitate to go out of yourself and make your child be responsible for the loan, even if it's in your name. Because one thing it did is it made sure that I respected my parents. There's so many people who are not paying it back. You saw the numbers. They said there are students who are in the 2-3 years out of school who have not even paid $1. So these are some key points, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Some tips for knocking out school loan debt. Don't wait for the grace period to start repayment. Pay it immediately. Pay it immediately. As one of our participants said tonight, the years will go on and on and on. It is inevitable. It is not going away. So don't wait. Pay it immediately. Don't buy a new car. I don't know how I did it because I had to get a car. So I got a car. I didn't have any money. We have to buy cars. See, we have to get the payments because we don't have the lump sums to buy the cars. But I'm going to tell you, if you have a way to not buy a car, don't buy a new car. And if you're the parent with the loan, don't buy them a new car if you're paying the loan, right? And then live below your means so that you can pay it off faster. So they're saying that this huge number of people that are going to historically Black schools, the students are not paying their loans back. So this huge number, but y'all, if we go to a homecoming, do you know how beautiful those cars are that we're driving? Do you know how beautiful the clothes are that we're driving? You know, I should just stand up with a megaphone and say, if you paid your car note and you did not pay your school loan, you know what I mean? You know you're wrong. That's wrong. So live below your means. We have to be willing to sacrifice in order to get where we gotta go. You know, Steve Jobs was saying he quit school because it was putting too much pressure on his parents to have to pay for him to go to school. And the man started Apple. We are caught up in that, you know, that we have to do these particular things, but we're not really focusing on the purpose that you're there. The purpose that you're there. I got my hustle in school. We got to make sure these kids aren't just playing. Pay off the highest interest rate loan first. My fifth point is sacrifice in order to pay the loans off. A sixth point, don't ever think that they forgot about you. This one lady I met, she had $250,000 at age 62 and was about to start Social Security. And I said, you know that they're going to take some of your check for this. And she said, what? And I said, they were going to take your check. And she had gone back and got 2 master's degrees. I said, so prepare accordingly because they are going to take your money. Make sure you keep your contact information updated. Make sure you know and you communicate with them so you do not have surprises. They are stacking on interest, penalties, and everything. A seventh point, credit cards, consumer debts, store cards, furniture payments, car payments are all no's. You got a school loan, you can't have those things. You cannot have a credit card balance and a school loan that you owe. And my final point is to check your credit report to make sure that your loans are not duplicated, because they'll have like a different loan for each year, different ones. Where I had one member where her credit score was hurt. We were just going over her credit report. She was like, oh my goodness, you know, my credit is so bad. And I saw this and I said, oh no, this is the error. That loan was switched to this company and they see it as you having both loans and one not getting paid, but they sold the loan to another company. She called, got that taken off. Credit score went up like 100 points. Yes. So we definitely need to make sure that we don't get afraid about this. We have to get the nerve to face up on it. Face on it. Take it right on, attack it, address it, fight it. Yes, indeed. Ms. March said, I'll preach it. I'm saving us. I'm saving us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The new car, the house, the credit cards, they don't have to ever come. The new house, the new cars, they will come. They will come. But that work ethic and the sacrifice and the humility that it requires, you know, I've told people many times where I felt that I was overwhelmed. I have a business going into the Great Recession in 2007, 2008, 2009. This Black single parent had to keep my firm alive through that. I had to totally adjust my way of thinking, my way of life. And I said, I cannot have debt. And I'm telling you, over the last 10 years, when I got all my debts, and I'm talking about I had millions of dollars in debt because we were approaching times when we went into debt. We just thought that was it, that's what you do, you know? Unless I'm leveraging something that's going to create income, we cannot afford to have that debt. When they say good debt, bad debt, the only good debt would be some debt that is creating income for you. You buying a bulldozer, you need a truck because you pick up logs. You know, you buying equipment that is needed and necessary for a business. You know, that would be good debt. That's called leveraging. But you got to be careful with that too. Pay it off immediately. As soon as you get the money, boom, 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 pay it off. That's what we have to do with these school loans. We have to realize it's an investment. It's just an investment. You're buying something like everything else. If that school that you're investing in cannot assure you that you're going to have some good employment afterwards, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You got to have a good job to pay these bills. Yep. Selling rental house and the land that I have to pay off Parents Plus loans. Good for you. I know that's right. She said they're selling a house. They're selling a property so that they can pay off those loans. I know that's right. Freedom. Freedom. These jobs don't want to pay any money. Yes, indeed. So what you can do is start your own business. Start working on what business can I have? What kind of value can I add to the planet? What can I do to generate more income? What can I do to generate more income? I don't believe that jobs pay any money either. And then you got to pay half of what you make on the job to the IRS, you know? But so what you could do is you have to start position, and debt stops us from going into business. When I started my business, all my school loans, I was 28. All my school loans were gone. My car was paid for, everything. You know, then I got into business, making money, and then decided that I wanted to start getting into debt because they would just send you stuff. They're just pushing you. Now when they do that stuff, because we're getting back into that area where they're loosening up, they're sending you all this stuff. They want you to go into debt. They want you, you know, that's how they make money. It's in business. That's what their business, what they do. Come on in, get this new furniture. Come on in, and you haven't paid the school loan. So definitely owning, yes, indeed. Okay, owning is the way, and it's a process. It is a process, but there are, you know, opportunities in careers. I have a lot of members that make a lot of money, but they're in particular fields that do allow them to make more money. Even when you start your business, you have to be in a field that will allow you to make money. You want to make money, you got to be in something that makes money. Now, I do believe that it takes a lot of creativity. I believe that anything that you love and it is a service that adds values to people's lives, if you are creative and you're business-minded and committed to the business, regardless of what it is, you can make money and pay your bills with it. But it takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot. I have next year will be 25 years independent. Before that, I was a stockbroker. Before that, I was selling radio advertising. I have never had a salary job. So to me, wow. You know, y'all have like the greatest thing, like somebody to pay you something. All you have to do is go and do this and this. Because I can work all week and not make any money, right? And still have to feed my child, pay my bills, and take care of payroll. What's up, right? So, you know, everything has its challenges, everything. But I definitely commend y'all for please ask if you have any questions after we finish this, you know. But the bottom line, you know, I'm just going to go with my points. Don't wait the grace period to start repayment. Don't buy a new car. Live below your means, and you can pay it off faster. Pay off the highest interest rate loan first. Sacrifice in order to pay the loans off. Don't ever think they forgot about you, because they don't. Credit card balances are a no-no, not consumer debts, anything like that. No, you got school. We have to take it seriously. This little deferment and they'll put it off, that's a setup. It's a setup. And then check your credit report. If you have school, check your credit report and get obsessed with watching it go down. It will go away, but it takes a lot of sacrifice. And I believe that you have to also know that retirement, financial independence comes before anything. So if you have to choose between saving, Mr. Dorsey's first question was, should I focus on retirement or paying off school loan debts? You know, that you knock those school loan debts out, but at the same time, you got to be saving at least 10% of your pay for your future. So what does that mean? You can't have the new car now. But look at how much more you can save once those car loans are out. Once that school loan is out of the way. But at least 10%, but the day you start your job, at least 10% has to go towards your financial independence down the road. And then you focus on them school loans with that extra. Definitely. So, I mean, it's not like either or. It's you have to do both. So what gets left out? The new shoes, right? The partying every weekend, the vacation for a while, right? Y'all don't even want to talk about the fact that I don't take vacation. Don't miss it. Love what I do. Wouldn't have it any other way, right? My child has been my saving grace. When she was little, I forced myself. I was like, I want my child to go to Disney World. But what? I was working the whole time to get her to go to sleep. Then I'm working, but it's not easy, but this is what we have to do. And sacrifice, get used to it. It's because there's always going to be a sacrifice. After you get the school loans done, so it's just like working out, right? It's just building that muscle. That's it. Because if you don't do this right, then you can't do this right. So you have to, and that's why I was saying that if my parents hadn't been like, you're going to take care of that, then I probably wouldn't have developed the grit that allows me to face some of the horrible economic times that my business has survived, because I have no problem struggling. I know what struggle feels like, right? I had no meal plan in school. I didn't come up with food. I worked in the cafeteria. I know what struggle feels like. So it's okay. And it's okay. We do. That's an advantage that we have. Most of us know what struggle feels like. So after we get our degree, why should we I used to always say whoa, I lived off the stuff we lived off in school. Imagine if we still lived like that. We didn't go to Ruth Chris and all these expensive meals and stuff that we do now. Live like that. You won't have any debts at all. At all. Thank you, y'all. Have a great night. Thank you so much. Something, yes. Now I need capital gains tax advice. I'll be calling you. Oh, I got that one. I'm ready for that one. Thank you. Definitely. Please, y'all, prepare for your quarterly meetings. Let's make sure that we address these things. Let's make sure that we get on it. I appreciate y'all so much. Have a good night. Thank you. What is going on, y'all? Thank you. Oh, thank you, Carl.